Singapore is a small island country in the Southeast Asia. Even though it's small country, but Singapore is a developed country and successful country. Singapore is well known as a big or strong economy, modern technology, and clean environment. However, despite its successful country, Singapore faces several issues and challenges that we will discuss in next video.
Singapore, located at the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula. Singapore covers an area of approximately 735 square kilometers. Despite its small size, the country has become a major global center for finance, trade, transportation, and technology. Its strategic location along important international shipping routes has played a significant role in its economic success.
Historical aspect, before colonialism, Singapore was part of early Malay kingdoms such as Srivijaya and later the Johor Sultanate. Due to its strategic location along major trade routes, Singapore became an important trading port for regional merchants. In 1819, Sir Stamford Raffles established Singapore as a British trading post, leading to rapid colonial development. After separating from Malaysia in 1965, Singapore became an independent nation. Despite having limited land and natural resources, it transformed rapidly from a small port into a modern global hub through industrialization and strategic planning.
The social aspect, Singapore is a multiracial country which has Malays, Indians, Chinese and other communities. So because of that, the government introduced the policy to maintain the racial harmony.
Singapore's multicultural identity is reflected in its four official languages: English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil. The government of Singapore actively promotes racial and religious harmony through education, community programs, and national celebration. From this effort, Singapore can help to maintain social cohesion among its diverse population.
Singapore is considered one of the most richest countries in the world and the richest in Southeast Asia. Its economy is one of the most highest market economies in the world and the highest market economy in Southeast Asia, with multiple sectors such as trade, tourism, infrastructure, R&D, and so on and so forth. Today we will be exploring how Singapore has managed to earn its level of success through its powerful economy.
Singapore's success can mainly be attributed to its strategic location at the Straits of Malacca, its efficient port, its skilled workforce, strict anti-corruption policies, and openness to foreign investment. The government has also invested heavily in education, infrastructure, and technology to improve productivity and competitiveness. As a result, Singapore achieved a very high GDP per capita. However, rapid development has also caused a high cost of living, especially in housing and daily expenses.
Since gaining independence in 1965, Singapore has focused on long-term planning and effective governance. The country's political stability has helped attract foreign investors and multinational companies, contributing significantly to national development and economic growth.
Issue is high cost of living in Singapore. Singapore is often ranked as one of the most expensive cities in the world. Transportation, house price, daily necessity, and healthcare are very costly, especially in urban areas.
Although the government provides public housing through the Housing and Development Board, many young Singaporeans still struggle to afford homes due to the rising property price. Daily expenses such as food, utilities, and education have also increased over time.
The situation creates financial pressure on citizens, especially middle and lower income families. Many people feel stressed about maintaining a comfortable lifestyle while dealing with rising expenses. As a result, concern about affordability and quality of life continue to grow among Singaporeans.
The second issue is actually about political control. In Singapore, they already implement parliamentary democracy. But the fact is, politics in that country only dominated by one single party, which is People Action Party.
The government is known for maintaining strict regulations on political activities, public protests, and media reporting. Supporters argue that this policy helps maintain stability, national security, and social order. However, critics believe that opposition parties face difficulty competing fairly and that freedom of expression is limited. Media regulation is also an important issue because many major media organizations are closely linked to the government. This creates debate about press freedom and whether citizens are exposed to a wide range of political opinions. As a result, Singapore political system often raises discussions about the balance between stability and democracy. While the country is politically stable, some people question whether there is enough openness and political competitions.
The issue is social inequality in Singapore. Despite Singapore's strong economy, there is still a gap between the rich and poor that noticeable over the years. The rich people's income benefit from economic growth while the low-income people may struggle over the rising cost of living.
Another issue involves foreign workers. Singapore depends heavily on migrant workers in sectors such as construction, cleaning, and domestic service. However, there are concerns about unequal treatment, low wages, and poor living conditions for some foreign workers compared to local citizens. This situation can create a social tension between the different groups in society. Some locals worry about the job competition and overcrowding, while others believe more protection should be given to the lower income and migrant workers. Therefore, balancing economic growth with social equality remains an important challenge for the government.
Moving on to the next one. The fourth issue that Singapore has been faced with is actually about aging populations. You know what? Singapore has one of the lowest birth rate in the world, while the number of elderly citizens continues to increase every single year.
This creates several long-term challenges. First, there may be a shortage of workers in the future because fewer young people are entering the workforce. To solve this problem, Singapore increasingly depends on foreign labor and automations. Second, an aging population increases healthcare and social welfare costs. The government needs to spend more on hospitals, elderly care, and retirement support. Family may also face greater responsibility in caring for elderly relatives. If not managed properly, this issue could place pressure on Singapore's economy and public service in the future. In conclusion, although Singapore is highly developed and successful, it still faces important domestic challenges. The high cost of living, political control, social inequality, and aging population all have major impacts on society and the country's future development. Therefore, Singapore must continue adapting its policy to maintain both economic success and social stability.